through the door, through the locked, bolted door, metal door, shooting through it, one shot and killing her. By the way, when she's at the door, she's there with her 9-year-old. All of that brings us to the first question in our investigation. Why did everything escalate? How do we go from roller skates, tablets, to a call about harassment, to shooting and killing a mother of 4? Here to help answer that question, private investigator Lauren Vellucci and psychiatrist, forensic specialist, and medical health expert, Dr. Yalda Safai. Great to have you both here. Lauren, what are your thoughts here on the escalation that night, right? Like, we know there's been tension throughout, but that night, it seems like it all started when the kids were in that side yard playing next door to her, and there were roller skates and a tablet. How do we go from that to shooting and killing this mom of 4?
Well, I mean, it seems very apparent that you have a grumpier older woman who just has a disdain for children. So I tend to believe the kids on this one, that she was taking their property and throwing it and taunting them. She was even calling them racial slurs, which is unacceptable. And because of that, I think that probably was the final straw. And the mom came over to want to have a little chat because it's her child, and I get that. And so it just escalated from there, and unreasonable things happened when they didn't have to happen.
Dr. Yalda Safai, let's talk about both parties here. Let's talk about the killer first, and then let's talk about the mom and how we got to this escalation of emotions and ultimately escalation of force to deadly force. What are your thoughts?
So it seems like things escalated pretty quickly when in fact it didn't. From my experience, things like this don't just happen. There's usually background and context. And in this case, it required weeks, or I don't know, even months of anger, resentment, irritation building up in this woman. When these things build up, you oftentimes need a trigger to act out or do something violent. In this case, the trigger for her was the mother knocking on her door. So you get a lot of anger and resentment and hate in this woman that was brewing for a long time, combining with the trigger. And unfortunately, the ultimate tragedy happened here. I've seen this happen all the time. When there's a lot of anger and resentment in a person, they just need a trigger to act out. And this is exactly what happened.
And how about for A.J. Owens? What is it that makes her go across the street and bang on this woman's door at 9 o'clock at night?
You know, it looks like from her documentary, she was just being a mother. Yeah.
No, go ahead, doctor.
She was just being a mother. I mean, if somebody does something to your kid, yells at your kid, or threatens your kid, you go into mama mode, right? You become a mama bear and try to defend your kid. So I don't really blame this woman for doing what she did. She was just trying to protect her kid.
Lauren Vellucci, what do you think happens if instead of firing through the door, Susan Lorincz opens the door? What do we think happens?
I think she would have encountered a pissed neighbor who had messed with her children, and there would have been an exchange. But I think it all comes down to the fact that this lady, Susan, had been mistreating these children. So had Susan opened the door and had an adult conversation, it would have de-escalated the situation, I believe. If she's greeted her and, okay, tell me what you're upset about. Let's go through this. You're my neighbor. I don't want to have these type of arguments with you. I think that would have calmed her completely down, and this whole situation would have been fixed with communication, which I don't think we have enough in our system today.
Dr. Safai, why didn't she wait? She had already called police. They were on their way. Why did she fire through a locked, bolted metal door and not just wait, I don't know, another minute, 2 minutes, whatever it is, knowing that police were about to arrive?
You know, that would have been the rational thing to do, correct? And she's no stranger to the police. She had called the police many times before. But in my opinion and what I've seen, when people are under a significant amount of stress, they don't think rationally and they act before they think. And this Florida stand your ground law is done just that. It's given people the permission to act before they think. And I think this is what happened in her case.
All right, guests are staying with us. Coming up next, was there any way to prevent the shooting?